Hello friends! Today we build a spline jig. Let's get started. For materials, we're going to begin with using a piece of painted pine, some plywood, and some dimensional lumber scrap. I started by taking that 2x4 and cutting it in half, so I had two pieces that were about 21 inches, and then I glued them together to make one 3x3 block. Using my crosscut sled, I squared up the ends of the pine and plywood, and then I cut them each to 20 inches long. This old pine board was a little bit warped and I didn't want paint on it, so I ran it through the planer a couple times. With the paint removed in the pine board, I went and ripped it to about half its width, and then I changed the angle of my blade to 45 degrees. It's really nice to have one of these digital gauges for quick and easy measurements. Now that the blade was at 45 degrees, I went and I cut each of these boards to about 4.5 inches wide. These are going to serve as the centerpiece for the jig that will hold the box and the picture frames. Special thanks to RZ Industries for sponsoring this video and for keeping my airways clean. For more information on the masks that I'm wearing today, check out the description below. After 6 hours, the glue in the 2x4s had dried well enough for a little bit of magic. First, I needed to square them up. Now that they were 3x3 perfectly, I wanted to cut them at a 45-degree angle, so I changed the bevel again on my table saw and did a little bit of karate. Great, these two pieces are about 2 inches tall and they're going to support those 4.5-inch pine boards. I realized halfway through the project that I didn't like the original piece of plywood that I had picked, so I cut a new piece from this old door that I picked up as scrap. Then I placed the runners down with a little bit of super glue, put the board on top of it, and it was time to secure them. I waited about an hour for the glue to dry up on the support board and the pine board. Then I added some more glue, spread it out evenly, and I aligned it down the center line on the new plywood base. You know, it's kind of hard to clamp at a 45-degree angle, so I put some screws in through the bottom and then I checked my angle and I came at 43.5 degrees. That's pretty good. I was able to correct that with the other board, so I had a perfect 90 degree on the inside, as you can see here. I let everything cure overnight, and then in the morning I took it to the table saw to put my initial cuts through it. Off camera, I made a very thick and sturdy 90-degree triangle. This has two uses. First, as you can see here, it's a depth gauge so I can see the height of the blade. Second, I can clamp this down and it can serve as a strong backboard that I can put a frame or a box against. Alright, it's time to put the jig to the test on the triangle using this thin oak wafer that I have as inserts. Wafers want to be snug, but not too snug that they won't fit when you apply some glue. So I put my glue on, pushed them down, and let them dry overnight, and then the next morning I cut them off with a saw, and I sanded them down, and they turned out nicely. Just use your imagination a bit and think this is a maple box with Padauk inserts. Beautiful! And there you have it. I have a lot of picture frames and boxes in my future, I have a feeling, so this spline jig is going to come in very handy for reinforcing those corners and adding a nice decorative touch. So do you have a spline jig? If not, what have you used in the past? As I was doing research for this, I saw a lot of different permutations on a spline jig, and I was this close to building one that went over my fence instead of going in the tracks on my table saw. So, do you have a preference? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I'm the Midwest Man Mountain. Thank you for subscribing. And until next time, bye!